appreciate that. Kansas going up against Oklahoma Christian in our last match of CRL week number 3. Let's get into it.
It's the last chance for Kansas to qualify for playoffs, but OK Christian are here to sink their ship. It's the last match of the day, so I'm ready for a good show.
Buckle up. We're going to get one, Lemon. We're going to get a show here between Kansas and OK Christian, and I think a lot of people have been impressed with OK Christian so far. They've had maybe a weaker strength of schedule when you look at the grand scheme of things, but they've taken care of business for the most part. Kansas, I think, trying to play spoiler to that 5-3 OK Christian record, and Kansas, on the other hand, like you said, an opportunity here to, again, get into the conversation of playoffs, or at least stay in the conversation, rather. Kansas sitting at 1-5 right now.
I'll be Captain Cope for Kansas, 1-5, but they've had to face a lot of good teams, like both Columbia's, St. Edward's, UNLV. So, that 1-5 can turn into something else. Oh, and almost an opportunity there for OK Christian. On the other hand, OK Christian doing just fine in the standings on that upper half. We'll see if they'll stay there. We'll add to their streak. Sauce got the ball. Chura in the box, and almost a pass that could have connected. Good interception there by OK Christian, and look at them clear the way, too.
Yeah, OK Christian, one of their biggest strengths as we've seen throughout CRL is they've been able to attack as a unit. When you look at even just statistically or in their gameplay, they're very well-rounded when it comes to things like shooting and scoring. And that actually plays a huge part into CRL as we've started to see a lot more of the meta shift go from, okay, we have this one crazy carry player to we need to be a complete team. It feels like OK Christian has really come out and become that complete team here throughout league play.
Yeah, and the best team that OK Christian has been able to beat is UNLV at 8th place, which is impressive, and maybe Chile could have had an impressive shot right there. Good and quick defense from Kansas, and still a 0-0 score after 90 seconds has gone by. But so we know OK Christian are in a good spot, but how are they going to fare against the top dogs? Like I said, the best team they've been able to go up against, I think, is UNLV, so this should be a beatable team for OK Christian. But we'll see how the score settles. We've had some tight games today, even that game 5 where there was an eyebrow on the line. But nothing bet here, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully not. This G-Man's going to take a shot on target, and OK Christian firing up the offense, and Chile will go top shelf with it. And OK Christian, they've been knocking on the door. Chile's got 6 shots by himself so far, and they finally knock it down.
Yeah, OK Christian had some time to warm up in that test lobby, too. And you see Chile's feeling himself. Good to see. He's probably one of the most decorated players in this lobby, has actually RLCS experience in OCE, getting qualifying for regionals. So Chile showing off that experience. Chura sending off that back wall. That's an awkward touch from Chile. Spade trying to take advantage. Kansas creeping up, looking for that equalizer. It's a fight in that midfield, though. Chicken won't be stopped. Spade trying to move forward, but as he misses that touch, gives some possession over to OK Christian, as it's been this all-out war back and forth in that midfield, where OK Christian can sit a little bit prettier now that they have a goal on the board.
Yeah, and they're kind of just throwing the ball down the field and seeing what sticks against this Kansas defense. Kansas defense trying to push up their line in the midfield, and they might have registered their first shot here. Sauce, flip reset. Can he get another touch? He won't. As a follow-up is there off the crossbars and going in, and Chura will get credit for it, and we're all tied up.
That was a floater. I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to scoop that up. Thought that initial Spade, that's a tough angle to cut, I'm not going to lie, but at least Kansas threw everything but the kitchen sink at the net. Eventually it has to tip in. And Kansas finds the equalizer going into the second half. And after, having Chile just being able to kind of scrim against their net there, having 6 shots that early, Kansas able to have one of their own is nice to see for them. Sauce maybe making some magic happen, and Spade taps it in. What a save there by Chicken and G-Man colliding in the net. This gives even more possession to Kansas, as OK Christian got to disperse their players and spread out this defense a bit. Still looking for that clear. Should be okay.
And Kansas really starting to sink their teeth in to his OK Christian defense. Didn't see a lot of offense come out from Kansas early on, but here late in game 1, they're coming alive. OK Christian having to adapt to that, but here comes the offense now. Chicken can get up over 1. He does. This one off the back wall and no follow-up. It was too close. OK Christian Hold on a second. No one went for the ball, and G-Man almost went top shelf with it again. Sauce makes the save as Kansas scrambling to get a hold of this with Sauce again being called upon to get the clear. As OK Christian trying to circle the wagons, Chura comes through on a save, and he finally gets Kansas out.
Not a bad offense for OK Christian, despite 2/3 of their team didn't have boost, and they're able to still cycle and keep that pressure up for a while. Now they find themselves on defense with Sauce and Spade threatening the net. Looks like it's sent away, and Chicken's able to try and grab this, not before colliding with another player. Now OK Christian can start that drive. G-Man not reading that bounce well, but with the demo on the Sauce, you got a 3-on-2 for OK Christian. Now still trying to angle this center down in front of the net is a difficult task for them. And that's just great touches from Kansas to keep this away from OK Christian.
Last seconds here. And OK Christian, they've really ramped up the control in the midfield. Chicken, well, he's going to get over one, but Sauce and Kansas trying to break out. OK Christian might have one last chance here, but it could be Kansas. They can hold on to it in the midfield. So this one floating towards the OK Christian side, and I think Chicken just going to knock it down. Here comes G-Man towards the net. Can he put on target? He will put it through. 0 seconds. Nobody from Kansas stepping up, and G-Man in 0-second time will clutch up.
Sauce is trying to dodge a bump and then jumped for it, just didn't get a hand up. And OK Christian get the game-winning goal at the 0-second mark. So they do got that dog in them, okay. And this is 15th place versus 5th place, by the way, so the seeds have a big differential, but man, this was a pretty close game one.
That is one way to clutch things up for OK Christian. And to be fair, I think they were kind of all over Kansas for most of this game. It was a high quantity of shots coming out from OK Christian, but not enough execution. But hey, when you come up big there in 0-second time for G-Man, that's all the execution matters right there, is putting that one away. And he does a great job of composing himself, especially in the midfield when you have a lot of space. If he gets dunked there, it could spell disaster for him going back the other way, but good composure by G-Man, and OK Christian on the board first here in the series.
And we, in our last series, I feel like teams change a lot from game one to game two. Just like when we thought, St. Clair looked really good off that game one when they had that 4-0 start and it was quick adaptations from the opponent. We could see the same scenario here of Kansas playing a bit slow, still trying to find that confidence. Chicken has no problem in that department. We got a plushie show up. We got flexing on cameras. This looks like a confident team.
Oh, certainly confident. I think, especially after game one here for OK Christian, I mean, they have to be, I would say, very confident. Even if that was a close game, which it was by scoreline, it wasn't by gameplay. I mean, OK Christian were kind of all over them. There was a little bit in the midsection of that game where Kansas kind of came alive for a second, but it was almost immediately shut down. So OK Christian did a great job offensively. The only criticism that you can really give is just looking for just a higher percentage of conversion, honestly, on their chances. But other than that, great looks there for OK Christian.
See how things shake up for game two. I like that we're just... is that the stream behind Chicken? Hi, Mom.
G-Man looked frustrated there. I wonder if something happened. I think we are kind of looking at game one here. There might be something going on at the end of that game, but I think our admins are looking into it at the moment. But I think the players are kind of all relaxed. And are they both in the dorm together? Is that what's going on? Is that what I'm seeing here? I think they are. There's someone else roommates in the background. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, I think so far okay, we're going to get people back in. So game one will stand. It looks like everything is good to go. But Kansas are going to have to find a way out a little bit more often if they're going to want to have a chance here in this series.
Yeah, 2-1 ended in that game one. A 0-second goal. Okay, I'm fired up and almost ready for game two. Okay. I looked at my game and we were about to start, but we will check on that in a second. But fun series so far, despite the desk thinking this was going to be more one-sided than it was.
Yeah, I think, listen, I don't think it was horrible from Kansas as well. Like this was a 1-goal game that they lost, and despite what I've been saying about maybe OK Christian being over them, I feel like Kansas had plenty of opportunity there to steal away that game, especially on their one chance early on when they got their first goal. They executed perfectly on it, and that's kind of what it comes down to. I talk a lot about execution a lot in CRL, and it's just because teams don't execute at the highest level here. And so when you can, that's the edge that'll set you apart. And so for Kansas, they're able to do that one time. They're going to need more chances down the field. If they're going to take down OK Christian, they're going to have to stop that attack from OK Christian as well.
And, you know, there's different experience levels, too, that separate both these teams. What I think is really cool about Kansas is they have players like Spade and Chura, whose careers were born from being on this team, and they get to blossom because of this team. Like, Spade even wrote in his player bio that he was Plat 2 when he joined this team.
Yeah.
And look at him now. You learn so much from experiences like this and playing against good teams like OK Christian. So I'm sure this is going to be a learning experience no matter what, win or loss.
Yeah, certainly is. We jump back into game 2, and OK Christian going to start things off right. Chicken will put away the first in 9 seconds.
Yeah, missed challenge on the G-Man. Chili's making sure everyone stays in their box, and Kansas couldn't get a hand up. And OK Christian just firing right after that break. Good to see, but it wasn't without Kansas finding that equalizer in our previous game. So I don't think this will get too far away from them. They just can't let that get to them too much.
And that's a disaster start for Kansas. Well, I mean, you look at how game 1 panned out for them, regardless of the loss, when you look at the gameplay, you cannot allow OK Christian to just come off in the first 9 seconds. As Sauce looking for a way out here for Kansas.
He's finding his way downtown. G-Man tipping it down, though. Ball got too far away from Kansas, but they're able to at least fight to recover it. Chura couldn't bump into Chili in time, and Chicken adding some power to that shot. OK Christian knocking on that net once again. I like that Chura goes for the demo, trying to relieve that pressure from OK Christian. Now Chicken brings it right back. You need to see OK Christian, and if they have the space, they have the ball, they got to be relentless on this. Kansas have let them have a lot. So I think OK Christian can run away with this a bit more.
Still plenty of time. Seeing some physical play come out as well. Demos coming out. Chicken might have an opportunity to set up his teammate, but G-Man waiting patiently. Pass comes out to Chili. Chili shot on target, and Spade. The shot came right at his face, and he makes the save for now.
Yeah, good on Spade to just get an easy shot like that, especially when there's a pass in front of the net that quick. After it was Kansas who had some kind of self-pass attempt on the sidewall, and it came back to OK Christian. You do not want to give the ball to the opponent, ideally, but double demo removes OK Christian from this. Chicken at least buying time. It's time for Spade to get on this ball, but for Kansas to hold on to said ball is, well, a completely different challenge. Sauce makes his way through the left, past one. G-Man through the corner, though. Sauce wins the challenge. In terms of kind of setting this ball in front of the net, it's a bit difficult for Kansas.
It goes to you trying to find a way out, or a way up the field without Kansas jumping in front of it. I think Kansas doing a good job, at least staying above water for now. The challenge is at least stalemating in the midfield. Spade, that one comes right back out to G-Man. G-Man looking for space, but Sauce is there to clear it out.
Spade defensively has been quite reliable for Kansas. I think besides like the first kickoff, this has been, never mind. Chicken scores now. Kansas have been kind of letting these shots drop in front of their net like that, where of course OK Christian have better positioning and they're just quicker to the ball.
Yeah, and you're seeing that quickness come out, especially when that ball comes off that back wall. A lot of players in orange are quick to that one, as Chicken right off the kickoff is getting a chance, but this is starting off exactly how game 1 went with Kansas's offense lacking. I mean, at the moment, they don't have a single shot registered on target, while OK Christian's sitting at 8. So the offense needs to come alive here. That one's shot and put through by G-Man, and Kansas not having anyone in the net.
What a setup from Chicken. First he dodges Sauce and gets bumped out of the way by Chura, but because Chura was so focused on that bump and not the ball, that this ball lands right at that left post. And G-Man is able to cut that and be at the right spot. Great setup from OK Christian. Takes some time to get the ball rolling, but hey, 3-0. Your opponent hasn't said anything, so a dub's a dub. 2 more minutes before OK Christian go to match point. Kansas are still waking up. They're still getting out of hibernation.
They certainly need to get out of hibernation, and very quickly here. Winter is over, and Kansas needs to get going, but Oklahoma's not going to allow it. Sauce denied quickly there. Now Chura has some space, has some time and boost to work with as he was waiting for the bump from Sauce. Spade will just try and keep it going for Kansas, but Kansas has been shut down. Still only one shot registered in this game.
Solid attempt out of Kansas. And you talked about execution. If you get so few opportunities, you got to be at least successful in the ones that are given to you. But that was going to be tough when there's a defender that hasn't been moved out of the way. Decent power on that shot. Chura, bump, touch, something missed there, and Spade missing in action too, so Kansas will have to leave.
I think Chura was actually better off just hitting the ball there. I think he was trying to get a piece of one of the players. He thought maybe they would make a quicker management on the ball. They could have just probably smacked one in the net if he just went for it, but a 3-0 lead. And Oklahoma is looking good here as Kansas have just really struggled to get their offense going.
34 seconds. Good lead out of OK Christian. Not too much of a roar coming out of Kansas. This way, I said game one was close. Kansas found the tie. And we're fighting tooth and nail, causing OK Christian to have to go for a 0-second goal to win game one. Now Kansas haven't really been able to generate much. And you still have a player that has a 2-digit score, and this is just getting putted in for a pretty one-sided game two, I should say.
And, you know, despite the closeness of game one, I think when you look at the way OK Christian has played between game one and game two, that game one might be an anomaly here in this series with how close it was, because, again, you talk about converting and a higher percentage of conversion here for Oklahoma, and you're just seeing what happens when they get there. That's, what, 12 shots now and 5 goals put away and a shutout over the opposition.
And you're seeing OK Christian improve as the seconds go by. The way that they're connecting, the team play, and Kansas are just like barely holding on defensively. They still registered 8 saves. But in terms of finding those counterattacks, it hasn't been smooth for Kansas to try and transition through the midfield. They've been stopped, they've been slowed, and they've been killed in this game too. It's match point for OK Christian.
Yep. I think OK Christian looking excellent here in this game. And really, honestly, in both the games we saw, I mean, despite, again, the scoreline that we saw earlier in game one, Kansas had maybe 1 minute of being completely lucid as a team, and they went right back to sleep here. It was just, in this game, there was no shot for them, and they literally had 2 shots, and it was from Chura, who didn't even break 100 points here. So the offense has to be found for Kansas if they're going to have a shot here. Otherwise, OCU is just going to crush them.
You saw in the replays, great shot at a G-Man, and the way that OK Christian were just, yes, playing their own game, which I'm sure they've been satisfied with through the season thus far, but being good at punishing and seeing the mistakes out of Kansas, whether it was a bad flip on the defense, OK Christian finding these, being able to recover the ball if Kansas lose it even just momentarily on that defense. OK Christian have been just burying them as soon as Kansas slip up even once. I think Kansas needs to just work on themselves, and then maybe OK Christian won't be able to score as much.
Well, I think it's when you look at Kansas, they're getting overwhelmed defensively, and so when you get overwhelmed like that, you try and do everything you possibly can to just get the ball out. But in doing so, you really sacrifice your offense because it's not organized, and you really just give up possession instantly by tossing it down the field. And that's exactly the trap that Kansas has been thrown into, and that's why you're seeing a very low amount of shots coming out from Kansas, is because, okay, sure, you can tread water, but you're not really moving anywhere.
Yeah, they don't got paddles, so just try and sail their way across sides of the field. Like, yeah, they'll put up 8 saves, but can't necessarily find these consistent clears. But this is a different game. Mental reset. Although I'm sure OK Christian putting on some extra goals at the end didn't help, but here comes Spade wanting to start this in, and Chile kind of helped him out. That's Kansas on the board first.
Well, you talked about Spade and his improvement over time when he showed up at Kansas. I mean, being in platinum and then making this team and improving tremendously to this point now, and putting on a goal like that is what an arc for him, and a massive goal to get things going for Kansas. It's just been a frustrating series, so to get one away here and to get it first is a big deal.
Chili said enough of that. Just demos him, and yeah, Chicken almost scoring there. Spade, yeah, has been the loudest person on Kansas, just at least metaphorically on the field. You know, he's just putting in work defensively, offensively, and he needs to breathe some life into this team. Even to some players like his, longtime teammate of Chura had kind of a more quiet game too. But I'm sure being able to reset things helps Kansas in game 3. Although you are staring at match point against OK Christian. It's not looking great, but almost a dunk opportunity there from Spade. And this is where you can really shake things up if you're Kansas.
Yeah, you're finding some more confidence on this Kansas side. Good passing play. Sauce back to Chura. You're seeing them use each other downfield, but unfortunately that next touch was a bit too high. Kansas have been able to move up their line. They're winning a lot more challenges in the midfield. It pays off. This game has looked a lot different than the first 2 games. But here comes Chicken, and someone's got to put a hand up here. It comes across to Chili, and Chili will just put it right at Sauce. He might just take this one all the way. One more touch. G-Man will prevent the counter.
That was almost disastrous for Kansas on that last defense. They were just a little bit asleep, and a second later there, they might have not even been able to make that save, but then they organized themselves quite quickly, and even when the second shot came in from OK Christian, Kansas were able to collectively figure out who was going for it, save that one too, find themselves back on defense with Chili and G-Man getting aggressive, but almost too far forward. Sauce just has to control this ball well. He has Chicken and G-Man. It's about to land in the box, and there's no one home. Kansas 2-0.
And Kansas finding that offense that we have been asking for. Look how quick Spade gets there to prevent the clear, and it pays off nicely. That ball dropping right in front of the net for Chura. And a 2-0 lead. Look at this from Kansas.
It's a different game. I'm sure with every goal, they just tell themselves, this is winnable. Doesn't matter, you don't look at the score in terms of the series. I've heard from a lot of players, you just treat every game like it's game 1. And that it's always winnable. And that's exactly what Kansas are thinking, but Chili wants to even things up, and G-Man almost had to tap in. Good send away by Sauce. And
is that a third?
That's Spade still getting that. I wasn't sure if that was on target. That is the third one for Kansas.
And Spade honestly had another opportunity just about 20 seconds ago, but he tried to pre-jump a pass that never came. That ball would have landed from the net. He could have put it away. It's good to see him get his second one in the end. And a 3-0 lead now for Kansas, who have just come alive here in Game 3.
See, the OK Christian have been offensively still driving and playing the same way as they did before. But now possession kind of, there you go. Finally, the pass has come through for OK Christian. That's all they needed was to pick up the speed, and eventually they were going to overwhelm Kansas the same way they did before. Yeah,
great work there from G-Man, beating that first man and serving up his teammate perfectly, and Chicken right in front of the box, and that's an easy one to put away. And one back, so you start the clock for OK Christian, and a kickoff goal would be disaster for Kansas. So another one's on target. Sauce with the big save. Here comes G-Man, and just like that, Oklahoma are back within 1.
There's only so much Sauce can do. Like, he saves his first one, had to jump again, couldn't jump high enough. Spade was coming out from the corner. Chura had just come out from putting the ball to the corner, and I don't know where he went afterwards, but like we kind of pointed out before, it's Kansas get easily overwhelmed defensively, and that's where OK Christian can really strike and find blood. Now we're only, OK Christian are only down by 1 goal. Plenty of time. And this would be the 3-0 comeback if they can make it happen. Here comes Sauce, reset available. G-Man pops up right at the perfect time.
Plenty of time. If you're OK Christian looking at the clock, you don't have to panic quite yet. I mean, you do need to get that next goal if you're going to tie things up, but that's a dangerous pinch as Sauce having to react quickly. Chili's got options here. Pass it down to G-Man. Try to flick it on. That's everyone. It's wide open. And this one going to go straight into the back of the net. Chura going to put away the 4th.
Yeah, where did everyone go? It's just the entire one half of the field completely open. No orange cars in sight. How does this happen? Kind of unlike OK Christian to be disorganized like that, but a chance for Kansas, I should say, to make this series close. 4-2, now a more comfortable lead. This G-Man, good control of the ball, tries to get this away. As teammates bullying people back in the locker. The G-Man wanted to pop things up. Chura steals it away, and good space there by Kansas, but that do you get past that midfield when, well, they have to demo their way out? Now Spade watching what G-Man is up to, trying to get this past him, almost sneaks the past.
45 seconds left. Okay, Christian in a bind here now. Looking to close out this series. But Kansas have come roaring back. G-Man going for a demo, but it'll be Spade who gets a demo and put it on target. Spade, he's going to get a hat trick here in game 3.
This is the second goal in a row for Kansas, where there's just no players on the orange half. Okay, one did just spawn from a demo, but still, where are the other two? And that's just a kerfuffle in the midfield that sometimes ends up that way, and Kansas benefiting from these laps and judgments. 30 seconds left in a 5-2 lead. And Sauce flicking it above. G-Man, good save, but Sauce tipping it to Spade. Gives him a chance to look for more. This is gonna land in the box, but G-Man gets there first.
Boy, oh boy, Kansas really done a good job here in game 3. I was harsh on them in the intermission between games. I was talking about they need their defense to get going. They need their defense to be clutch. They need their defense to get them down the field. And in this game, they had over 10 saves to keep themselves in this game, and the offense executed. And even then, when the mistakes came through from OK Christian, Kansas was there to punish. Yeah, it was 11 saves from Kansas. But this time, 10 shots. So the offense and the defense lined up, and this is what you get, a 5-2 scoreline from Kansas. We got ourselves a series.
Yeah, even Chura having a much better game. Kind of started that game 2 with kind of double-digit score. It was a bit quiet considering just how much chemistry he has with someone like Spade and how they weren't connecting as we usually know them to. But then it kind of the tables were turned, and OK Christian were the ones not whiffing, but just making more mistakes positionally, where Kansas had these open net shots and getting into OK Christian's head. So now that Kansas were able to actually have the ball and do something with it, they were able to prove that they have an offense that can score.
And that was the real question, right? Is Kansas going to give us an offense that is going to, convert and put balls in the back of the net? And the answer here was yes, a resounding yes. In fact, maybe even more potent than the OK Christian offense that we've seen, because that game was not without the offense for OK Christian. It was just they couldn't put it away. And so now you get yourselves into the series. It's going to have to be a reverse sweep at this point, but you can't fall back into the same traps that you did before in games 1 and 2 if you're Kansas. You've got to keep the momentum going here in this series.
At least Chili is still smiling from OK Christian. I'm not a very good face reader on the rest, though. OK Christian will have to pick themselves up, but still on match point, and Chicken still swinging.
Well, there's the pick-me-up right off the rip. OK Christian converts. That's a great touch from Chili, getting a little double tap there to pop it up to the far side of the box. That's so dangerous for defenses. Chicken's there to punish, and 7 seconds. OK Christian on the board.
Yeah, the way that OK Christian can take a ball from the corner, pass it in front of the net, and there's just not a blocker there. There's no one that knows what's going to happen until it's too late. No, OK Christian get one for the road, too.
That's frustrating. If you're Kansas, I mean, Chicken just goes straight into this challenge. Spade
bulldozed them.
It just took a little too long to decide what he wanted to do. If he wanted to flick it, he had to do it earlier. And Chicken just calls him out and says, you're not going anywhere with this one. 2-0 quickly here for OK Christian.
Yeah, OK Christian just giggling away after maybe relaxing at the wheel a little too much in game 3. Realizing this is a different ball game now. Chicken not too worried about that push there from Kansas, but the backflip sends the ball back towards G-Man, who continues to drive forward. OK Christian have a chance, not a great touch from Spade. This goes to G-Man, who takes the shot. Didn't look ready, but he was. Now OK Christian running away with it.
Oh man, they are, they're the same team that we saw in the first 2 games. They're back to form, as they are just converting on every single chance. In fact, they're 3 for 3 here. Chicken's 2 for 2, G-Man's 1 for 1. And OK Christian, boy, they got that offense rolling, and I mean, Kansas, we've seen it before. Kansas, they just don't have a response to this offense.
G-Man just scares me. Every time he scores, I see that dehydrated Luffy on my screen, and I just really want him to change. It just looks scary. But see him Kansas can put up a scary show like they did in game 3, but they were able to fire back. Kind of originally just the shot got blocked, and now they're fighting for the ball yet again. Chura, a long shot downfield, sent right back to where it came from. G-Man gonna tip this towards the net. Now it's just clear after clear, but Chura is there first, takes a difficult shot, almost was on target. And Spade has the follow-up, but that pressure seems to have gone away if you're Kansas.
That's a great cut there from Sauce. Chura now trying to bring this one down and make something happen. Kansas, I talk a lot about the clock and how you don't have to panic, but with the way the offense been churning for OK Christian, you feel like it's going to take more than 4 for Kansas to win, because you feel like OK Christian might get more than what they have now, but you've got to stop the bleeding. If you're Kansas, Spade will take a shot on target. That's exactly what you do. Spade putting it away, and that's Kansas on the board.
Just nose right on with all the power that he could, and I thought Christian almost had a hand on it. He pre-jumped at everything, but Kansas picking up the pace, and that's exactly what they needed to do. They proved that they've had an offense before, and when given the ball, they can be dangerous too, but Kansas still got quite a gap to close now, and the score is still down 2 goals, but 3 minutes to do it. But signs of life is definitely good.
Spade over to Chura. Chura, tough shot, and Chile was there. Kansas, like you said, showing signs of life, showing some creativity as well. Chicken, great first touch. Maybe an extra second touch there was perfect. And almost able to put that one on target. Spade is happy just to smack this one down the field.
Spade doesn't have any boost though, but he can rely on Sauce to make the magic happen. Takes the shot right in front of them. Now Kansas climb back into this game.
And I think everyone on OK Christian was looking at Chicken to make the touch or get a touch on the ball, and when he didn't, he even put "my bad" in the chat as he whiffs on the touch. I think threw off everyone on the read, and Kansas get another.
It's a 3-0 start in what, the first minute of this game? Like, OK Christian, we're done playing with their food, but Kansas are quick to learn, adapt, and improve on the fly. Spade, knowing not to go for a useless challenge, waits for his moment in the midfield. Sauce thought maybe he could have saved this and turned this around, but now he has to face the offense of OK Christian knocking on that door. Chicken gets shoved out of the way, and I like that Kansas are bringing more physicality to this. But Chicken, kind of scary there. He's been able to bulldoze players and turn the ball back on its net, so gotta be careful for Chicken.
Yeah, I mean, as I've been saying for years, I think that demolitions and physical play will never, ever go out of style. So if you can implement that into your gameplay, into your strategy, you'll always be better for it. And right now, it's not working out as this one is on target. No, it's off the post. Huge save. As OK Christian trying to find a way out. They've given the ball back up. Chura shot on target off the crossbar. And still struggling is Oklahoma Christian as this one comes across. They're holding on to their 1-goal lead, and they do get out.
Chile not only gets out, but almost ran away. Had to go up against Chura, who's probably going to kick himself for hitting that cross, because that was the tying goal that Kansas needed. Minute 4 left. Chura over to Spade. Long clear. Sauce ready. Misses the touch. Chicken now guiding this over to the opposite side, where hopefully Kansas aren't. He doesn't have a lot of boost, and he's getting bullied off the ball. Sauce able to keep this at the midfield, give Kansas another chance at this offense, but you got to take this away from Chile. Now demos from both sides, 2-on-2. Spade, though, collides onto that left wall, and it's going to be tough to kind of recenter this, especially up against a player like Chicken.
Here comes Chile. Kansas down by 1 here. That was an open net. Chicken couldn't get there. Another shot on target, and no one's going to get there in time. G-Man might have just sealed it for OK Christian.
Kind of once again, like Kansas are good at maybe saving the initial shot or looking like they are confident that they can get the clear. And then OK Christian are just that much quicker to the ball, and Kansas get overwhelmed and maybe are too slow to make that decision to go for that heroic play. Now OK Christian have built themselves a pretty good cushion. These last 20 seconds where they're up by 2 and it's match point. You demo Chura 2, and man, this net is getting attacked though, and Kansas needed that to slip through because time is slipping by. And Kansas fought long and they fought hard. but it just will not be enough. And OK Christian, that'll be the nail in the coffin. They will be taking the series 3-1.
Yeah, and it's such a shame, too, because you felt like Kansas was really starting to show their stuff here, especially offensively, but it's just too little too late. If they had done this in a previous game, a couple games ago, maybe a chance for them to get back into the series, but Oklahoma Christian looking good here as they march on in this league play. And they've done well to take down another team as Kansas will fall.
Yeah, OK Christian, I think we're 5-3 before this match or something like that, in 5th place. And you're wondering where OK Christian are going to end up, because they haven't faced the top of the pile, but they are just happy that they can take wins against teams that they know that they can beat. Yeah, they might have a 1-game slip up, but you never saw the spirits really die down. And I'm wondering where OK Christian are going to end up. It's going to be okay, he works out, I can tell. Okay.
Whoa.
But where does he end up? Middle of the pack, top of the pack? OK Christian are kind of this question mark team, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think there was a lot of, questions about what this team was going to be. I don't really know if people put a lot of expectation on them, but so far, it's one of those things I always say in CRL, and then especially in kind of like the bubble areas, you can tell a team's going to kind of move up to that next level when they beat their peers consistently, like teams that are below them or around their rank. And right now, OK Christian's doing that for the most part, right? They're taking down the majority of teams that are around them or below them, and that's a good sign. But as we mentioned on the desk earlier, Lemon, to be great, you have to beat great teams, and that's the next step for OK Christian. But they did a good job here to not fall into a trap of Kansas, who did look good in their one win. Kansas looked great, and even in this game 4, I felt like Kansas looked really good. They just couldn't execute on the offensive side of things, and that was the big thing that held them back.
And I believe mathematically, I might have done a little lie, a little oopsie whoopsie, where Kansas still mathematically, girl math, have a chance to make playoffs, but the road is getting darker and darker, and the chances are getting slimmer and slimmer. But hey, somewhere in the math world, there's a chance. Oklahoma Christian University have some teams above them: Boise, Columbia, St. Edwards, Maryville. Those are the big teams they're gunning for. But what a day we've had! A 3-1 victory for OK Christian. They're happy how this ended up, but we're the desk happy. Let's go check in with them.